What's up, Straight Talk Society? This is your boy Trevor coming back at you with another episode of Straight Talk with Trevor. I really appreciate everyone who took the time out to listen to my last episode and also my previous episodes. My listenership has gone up tremendously, and I thank you for that. I appreciate you guys that continue to share talking about videos, because I will be going in video form soon. I appreciate you guys that continue to share the audio over the various platforms. Get your friends to listen, man. Is a good listen. It's 30 minutes of just straight talk. So again, thank you. I'm not going to go too long in the opening this week because I have a special show for you tonight. With this being Pride Month, and we know Pride Month, I'm assuming is the celebration of the LGBTQ, RSTUV, whatever they decided, because they keep adding new letters. It seems like every week they're adding a new letter, but whatever. I decided to do something different. This will be my official interview series. Tonight I am going to interview someone who doesn't really identify as being a part of that community, but just for the sake of the show, I'm going to kind of put her in that right now, and then she'll kind of explain her way out of it. But tonight I'm going to interview a Samantha Curlew, who is, again, I would consider her a lesbian, but I'll let her tell you her story. So, as I always say, grab yourself something to drink. Right now, I'm drinking some Hennessy. My guest is drinking some wine. Sit back, relax, and it's time to talk straight. All right. So, Samantha, how are you?
All right, brother.
You all right?
Glad to be here.
You glad to be here? You're not nervous?
Nah, brother. I'm not nervous.
You're not nervous. You're not afraid of me. You haven't heard of Trevor and his irreverent things that he likes to say.
Of course, I listen to your podcast and a lot of things you have to say. I read a little bit between the lines, and it's a short segment, but I know enough. I've seen enough. I've heard enough.
All right. So first off, you don't identify as. What do you identify as? I don't want to just say things. What do you identify as?
For the sake of the community, I would say I tell them I'm lesbian.
You're lesbian.
Because there's bi, and bi women like both, have a preference for both, will date both. And when I say lesbian, I say that because I do not date both men and women, not at the same time and not separately.
Okay, but you do have kids.
That's correct. Yep, have two beautiful boys.
Okay, so but now you're strictly you like women now. It's strictly a women thing.
I want to say for the past 10, close to 12 years, I've only dated, seen, and been with women.
How did that happen? Because I need to wrap my head around this thing. You have kids, so at some point you had to have liked men. So what happened to make you go the other way?
These aren't questions I kind of sit down and ponder on. You know what I mean? But I'll try to make sense of it the best way I can. I dated 2 men. The first one was just, I felt like I kind of was really young and just fell into, being submissive and not guided correctly. Second time around, it became extremely abusive. I felt the family, my family, his family and whatnot kind of forced me around into doing a lot of things that I didn't necessarily want to do, nor did I feel that I had the will or the right mind to change that. I became scared. In doing that, in the midst of all of that, of course, 2 kids came about. I wouldn't say that there's any regret in having my kids or nothing like that, but I don't think having kids puts me in a platform to say that I like men.
Interesting you say that. So for you, sex is more of an emotional thing because if I'm hearing you right, just because you had kids doesn't put you in the category of liking men. So what actually do you get? What do you get from a woman that a man can't provide in that regard? So the man you get 2 kids from, but you choose to be with women. So where's the gap? What's missing? What doesn't the man bring to the table that the woman brings to the table?
I don't think I stuck around long enough to really figure it out. I think you're right. I definitely do care or need for myself more of an affectionate, passionate, and a consistency to feel and fit my love language for myself. Is it impossible for a man to do that? Of course not. You know, that's where it comes in preferences and a lot of other things. You know, women are relatable to me. Some of the issues that I may have went through in my past, a lot more understanding, compassionate, genuine. Again, is it impossible for a man to do that? Of course not. Have I had that out of a man? No. Have I given men the chance since, you know, having my children and being in misguided and losing my self-worth? Absolutely not.
So for the sake of time, you're of island background, and then we know how the islanders are in Jamaican. How did your family feel when they found out? Did you tell your parents? Like, was it just one of those things that they just knew? Like, how did that work when you came to your mom and said, "Hey, this is who I am. Love me"?
Well, yeah, I do have a mom back, a Jamaican mother, and I don't really too much feel she was open about my dating life, whether it was with a man or a woman to begin with. But when it did come to me letting her know, hey, I'm not going to be dating men, I'm only dating women now. And she didn't know. Even to this day, I asked her, you know, because I was teased back when I was in high school and middle school that's my life and that's what I would be. I was labeled that throughout people in my family by the way that I dressed, because I was into sports, because I had a twin brother, just whatever they associated me with and I associated myself with. So she said that she didn't know back then.
So they always just figured, they just labeled you like, completely. Yeah, she probably gonna be gay or
completely,
something like
without
that.
Even actually knowing what that is.
Even though you got 2 kids. So you can't get away from that. And so your mom is pretty much okay. Have you ever brought your girlfriend around her?
I tried to introduce a few girlfriends that I may have, or other people that I was even interested in just talking to. You know what I mean? Whether we were dating or not of some sort. And you know, it was tough. She was not really open to it. She was rejected. I tried to have conversations with her, but you know, I would say it's a little easier now because I try to communicate a little bit more with her now.
So how do your boys feel about this?
My kids absolutely tell me they just want me to be happy. And honestly, they've never seen me with a man. And when they did see me with their father, arguing, hitting.
Okay, so they've never seen you happy with a man before. So the only time they've seen you with a man, it was basically an abusive situation. So now they probably look at this as men are probably no good for my mom. So that's why they don't have any problem with that.
It's possible. Yeah, no, they haven't shared anything. They haven't came with any questions about anything, but I'm also selective about who I have around my children. Men, women, whoever it is, people are people. But if I've chose to date someone and have had them around them, it's no negative vibes. They haven't been curious to ask any kind of questions. And honestly, this is what they've been seeing for the past 12 years. So what more do they know from me?
So, okay, because the show is called Straight Talk with Trevor. And
I get it.
So first of all, do you feel, because everybody knows me, we don't have a script. So like, this is literally just coming out of my head now. Do you feel you were born this way?
No, I don't feel I was born this way. The only part I would say that I probably have been born with is, you know, my love language. I've always been affectionate. I love hugs, touches, you know, an appreciation of it, like, congratulations, I love you, those things.
But if you were to go ask my wife right now, do I make her feel like a woman? I think she'd tell you, yeah. So I'm just trying to figure out where could it be that you just, and again, I'm not a therapist or anything. This is just, opinions are like assholes. I got them and I'm just spitting out things. But do you think you just deal with the wrong type of men? Because we were talking earlier and you said something that really got me, and I told you to remember that. You were saying about that there are no good, like, where are the men? So just kind of just touch on that, because if you listen to my show for any length of time, you realize that I am hard on men for not stepping up, not being there for our Black women, not being there for our kids. Yep. And you said something earlier and it kind of stuck with me. You were saying that, like, where are these men? So just let me hear your thing on that.
You know, when I was in that abusive relationship and I felt like I lost my worth, and whatever epiphany came into me, and when God spoke to me, and I listened and I yielded to that spirit, I did come into question with a lot of things. I tried to suppress a lot of how I was feeling, the way that I wanted to go, and I tried to tap into that. So I did look into, hey, maybe it is the type of men that maybe I should introduce or allow these different type of men to get to know me. And I think I don't know if I was too tough on them or whatever it was, but it was always something that was like, okay, that's a turn off. I'm not dealing with that. I deserve a little bit more than that. And then once it became one after another, I kind of dialed back. So it's kind of like, where are these men? These good men, these men that is raised with knowing what marriage is, to appreciate and not tear a woman down, keep her word, keep her lifted, encouraged. They're in jail.
You gotta look under the rock for that one.
they're in jail. You know what I mean? They're in jail. And then the ones that's in jail that want to do that and have come to their epiphany in their life and they get released. Now brother, you come with dents. I have to give you this chance and opportunity where you come in as a 50% man because you have this background. You just came out of prison. That's
good. So you all right. So you rather instead of dealing with a used man, like a used car, you just rather find love and compassion in a female. Am I getting that one right? Or
I would say it's fair to say, and they're around with their kids. You know what I mean? Looking for the same thing and understanding and compassion and someone to be there, someone to provide. I'm a natural provider because I'm a woman. I'm a single mother. They're a single mother. They're trying to provide. So naturally come together, you provide for each other and for each other's children, and a natural bond and friendship.
All right, you're using the natural word a lot, and I heard you drop the G word earlier. Okay. You say you believe in God now, and we know. Based on the Bible, I need a siren because Trevor's getting ready to talk about the Bible again.
There we go.
Based on the Bible, we know that God's natural order is man for the woman. And now, how could we profess to know God and spirit? And again, I'm not judging you because, hell, I'm the guy who just got my ministerial license stripped from me. So what the hell do I know? The natural order is God. God made man for the woman. Woman for the man. And now we're just kind of taking it upon ourselves to go against that biblical order. And like, are we okay with that? Like, we don't think God's gonna have an issue with that? Like, what's your thought on that?
When I went to really seek God, I heard that in one of your podcasts, and I sought after him as well because I didn't know myself. You know what I mean? And that was tied in a lot of things. And I'm not against her saying that that's what it is, but when I sought after God, I didn't seek after his preference for men and women and what he wanted. I sought after him as being his child. What do he see in me? The love and the life that he wants me to live. And we all know what the Bible says about the life that God wants us to live.
Which is a holy life, but the Bible says, be holy for I am holy. Do we think like homosexual lifestyle is a holy lifestyle? And again, so here's always a problem, and I will say this, and the Christians are really wrong for this because they like to hone in on the homosexuals. That's all you'll ever hear them talk about. Oh, the homosexuals are going to hell. Meanwhile, the pastor's beating the shit out of his wife. But you never talk about that part. So what I'm saying is, if we're supposed to be serving a holy God and he's saying, okay, you got to live this way, where do we get off saying we could go this way?
Again, I think when I in my search and I've talked to God and he's talked to me, I have a lot of reason to know and believe that. Now, in our talks and our walks and what I've come to understand by the Spirit, when I yielded to it and I sought questions, again, the way I saw it was I wasn't disapproved. Not one moment did I feel disapproved or unwanted in that choice of saying, well, God, this is how I feel. I've suppressed it for so long, or I've literally tried, and I have a love for him. And when I saw it and got the answers that I got was basically, how does he look at me as an individual, not my lifestyle, not the community, not anything else besides me as an individual, and what he wants and envisions for my life, and the love that he promised has unconditional for me in that. And it never changed. And brother, I could put that on everything. Never changed. I still have my blessings coming for me, and I create blessings for my children.
Well, just as on the whole blessing thing, everybody gets blessings. Yeah. So I wouldn't look at blessings as.
Yeah, but you can also mess up your blessings.
Yeah, I wouldn't look at a blessing as a fact of like, okay, I'm walking right in the will of God. But again, that's not what this is about. I'm not, again, okay. I'm not that guy anymore. So you do have two boys, and you know how I am strong about the family and how strong I lean into Black fathers being a necessity in the home as far as raising our Black boys. So growing up, you'll be able to have that guy that you ask where they are. The reason you don't see them now is because their dads weren't grooming them from the beginning. So, fatherless boys, not all the time, but they normally tend to be these lost guys that have no morals. They walk around, they treat women like shit, and, they don't ever want to step up to the plate, which is why we have a serious lack of good men right now. So my question to you is, being that you're in a homosexual lifestyle, what impact do you think that's going to have on your boys?
And of course, that's something I thought about. I never was the type to shy away that they don't need a male figure or even their father. That's definitely not me. I'm not a man. I don't try to take on a position as a man. And
where is your dad? Don't hold that thought. Where's your dad?
Their dad's incarcerated. He's in jail right now. Yeah. So he's looking at some serious time. And but nonetheless, he's where he is on his choices. Puts me in the position where I am. And even when it wasn't, I never kept them from him, because there are things that they're going to learn and see in him that they're not going to see in me, especially living my lifestyle. They're not going to see it. And even with that absence, I do try to look for other male influences around that they can have. Do I have brothers that can be male influences for them? No. I try to look for male teachers at their school. I do try to have it around them because they should and need to see and be a part of that. I do feel that. Same way if it was with a child, if it was a woman, you a single dad, you can't just think you're going to show your daughter everything. She's still going to need to, be around a woman or have a woman influence around her for those things. So
you agree with me though that women, even though they've been doing a good job here, because I don't need you social justice warriors coming after me. I raised my kids right. I don't care what you say, Trevor. But I don't need you guys coming after me. But boys need their dads in their lives. You do agree with me on that?
They need their fathers.
They need their fathers or a strong, influential male
Absolutely.
Figure.
Definitely.
So what if a couple years down the line, one of your sons brings home a guy and says, "Hey, mom, boop, here I am. I want to be just like you."
Oh, you're really bringing it tonight. Let's, you know,
let's straight talk, Bio. Let's straight talk.
You know, everybody has a choice. My mom definitely didn't see it coming. You know what I mean? And I'm sure there's things that happened in my childhood that I had no control over that she also didn't see coming. And maybe that influenced, you know, how things went when it wasn't corrected. But, you know, all I can say for that is I can only focus on trying to make my child feel loved, because it's a cold world out here. And turning them away and looking for someone else to love them, they're not going to receive the proper love. That's what I went out with. I didn't receive the proper love at home. I went looking for love, and what I thought was love was nothing but abuse. It kept me caged. It kept me under someone else's thumb and control. And I definitely don't want that for my kids. Whether he want to be a submissive male, whether he want to be, you know, alpha male. I'm only hope that they know that I'm doing the best that I can.
So in your relationships, are you the alpha or the beta? The beta male, but not male because you're not male, obviously. But are you the alpha? Are you the okay? Because I'm still learning these terms. I just kind of blanket them all in one thing. So like when I hear them say the lipstick, I'm assuming that's like the more feminine one. But you're feminine though. It's like that's what I'm saying.
In my community, when I date, some of them don't associate me as that because I have an aggressive demeanor and a dominant.
So would you be the butch or what?
No, of course I wouldn't be no butch. You can't say butch.
Yeah, but what's the butch? What's the butch? The butch is
like saying faggot. You can't say butch or dyke. It's just like stud. They say stud.
The stud.
No, because sometimes you have it all breaks down. You have soft studs and then regular.
Who's the ones that wears that covers the breasts and all that stuff?
Those are like studs.
And has the pants sagging and they just...
And like to wear men's clothes.
Yeah, literally want to be a man.
And that's not me. But they might consider me a stud because, you know, I have a twin brother, you know what I mean? And we unknowingly mimic each other's kind of behaviors in a way. You know, he's really aggressive. When I'm around him, I'm really aggressive. And then naturally that comes around in my relationships. But it don't make me any less submissive or any less wanting that affection and the passion and some of those softer sides of things like any other woman do, you know?
So you could go both ways. You could basically play both roles. Like you could be the nurturer, you could be the submissive one if you have to be.
I think submissive and aggressive just kind of naturally go like when it's in the bedroom, but in a relationship is I don't try to be a man. You're not going to have me come around and think I'm going to be paying all the bills around here. That's definitely not something I'm okay with. I don't lift heavy equipment. I don't be trying to put fans up in the ceilings when I don't have to. I don't do things like that.
You hear what you're saying now. You're saying you don't want anybody to think that you're going to be the man. So why not?
I don't necessarily want nobody to think
why not just have a man though? Like
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not that person. So I let anybody I date, they know, you know, when they try to figure out, well, what are you, this and that, I let them know, listen, whatever it is that you want to label, you want to put me under, I'm not the, you know, come into your household and pay all your bills and throw you money to get your hair and nails done and fixed and whatnot. And I'm not the one that's out here that's going to be hoeing around on you when you don't give me what I want. Certain things that, you know, that these other studs want to adapt to fit that role. And I don't. You know, I don't lift heavy equipment. I can't unload a 3-bedroom truck into a house by myself. No, I don't do that. And I'm not going to do that. I still stick to my woman's side. But it's got to be 50-50. You know, and I let it know, you know, I mean, I ain't going to take the trash out. I'm scared of spiders and things like that. You know,
I feel like I could talk to you for a whole another hour on this, but for the sake of time, so do you ever plan on getting married? Because it's legal in Florida, so do you ever plan on getting married?
Yes. I do think about marriage. You know, I want to get married.
What is marriage to you?
A commitment, a forever commitment. Someone to spend the rest of your life with.
Which was ordained though to be as between man and woman though.
May not be the case in 2021, but you know, we're not living ordained in 36 BC. So I'm just living in the lifestyle that I was born into and trying to live it the best way that I can.
Okay, because we're gonna have to continue this, but
give me one, part 2, part 3.
Yeah, because I could just stay right on that whole married thing, but
I know you can.
But again, I got to go back to the kids again because. Again,
that's still a 2-parent household. It may not be a man and a woman household, but it's still a 2-parent household.
It's a 2-parent household, but it's not. It's okay. If you look back in the 50s and 60s, those households were like right. Like those parents raised those kids right. 2-parent household. Mom stayed home and did whatever. Guy went out and worked, and they raised their kids right. Things like that. And as we progressed on, it progressively got worse. And now you're talking about just removing the man completely.
Not at all.
Yeah, but hold on, because right now, if you get married, if you get married to a woman, how are you going to procreate? Bible says to be fruitful and multiply.
I did that. I multiplied times 2. And if I get married, if that's multiplying by however many kids she have, if any.
Okay, so you're like, okay, then I'm good with what I have.
That's it, yeah. You have people that get married that's not having kids. Jeezy's wife left her husband because she didn't want to have kids, and then 10 years into their marriage, he did. And now they're divorced and she's with Jeezy. So yeah, marriage is supposed to procreate and whatnot, but people are getting married and they're not doing that either. Does it make their marriage any less valid or wrong?
I just got a hard time wrapping my head around this. If it was man and man, I'd have an issue with it. I'd have a bigger issue with it if it was man and man. But just woman and woman calling themselves married, like, again, if you search the scriptures tell you that marriage is honorable. And honestly, if I'm not mistaken, that's the only thing in the Bible that God does call honorable is marriage, the sanctity of marriage. How do we just feel like it's okay to just change that? Just say, hey, listen, I know how you designed it, but I'm going to do it my way, damn it.
Well, is it any less honorable if that man want to have multiple wives or do?
Oh, I'm going to do an episode on that too.
You know, let's get there because it's in the Bible that way, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's not frowned upon, and God blesses it. Exactly.
Polygamy is spoke about in there.
Yeah. Is it less honorable to have a polygamous lifestyle and have multiple wives? I mean,
but nowhere in scripture tells you man and man, woman and woman. That's what I'm saying. If like we can't. Okay, well you never said that you go by Bible 100%, so I can't say that. But a lot of people do that. Whenever you have a conversation with a homosexual person or something, they'll tell you, "Oh, I believe in God," and you ask them why, and they'll say, "Oh, because the Bible tells me to." So once you bring the Bible into it, then that means that you're living your life according to what the book says. But you, in all fairness, you have never said that. You believe in God. You believe in God. You're okay. Right. So you're more like me. You believe in God and you seek that spiritual walk. Man, I wish I could spend more time with you, because now I feel like we just could be just getting into the meat of this whole thing. I'm definitely gonna have you back, because this has been tremendous.
Yeah.
So you see that I'm not such a bad guy.
No, yeah. 30 minutes. You're not gonna wrap your around along that, and it's not here to change your mind about things, but it's for your listeners and everybody to maybe gain an understanding.
Exactly.
I don't speak for the community, because like you said in the beginning, I'm living that lifestyle, but I'm not 100% into the community because of some things that I don't like. You know what I mean? All these labels and what they put on, and I can't associate with myself with that, so it makes me look different. So
okay, so I really got to wrap this up because I only got a minute. But because you said you don't agree with everything in the community, how do you feel about the wearing of the pride shirts and the gay pride and all that stuff? Would you be mad if I walked around with a shirt that said straight pride?
What does that even mean? I wouldn't be mad. I just don't know what it would mean.
So you guys,
is that a community that's being oppressed? Is that a community that people have killed other people on? I'm just saying, when you wear that shirt, you know the history of what's been behind it, and you know what the history has been. So, and
we're gonna stop right on that. I got to have you back. I really appreciate you coming in to the studios, because this has been a tremendous conversation, and I hope my listeners really enjoy this, and I hope I gain new listeners. With that being said, I always leave you with this: seek out truth for yourself, because if not, you'll be a victim to other people's interpretations of it. And with that, I bid you farewell.
Yep.
Peace.